Hello, everyone, and welcome to Speaking on Anime. We are going to be talking about a great anime today, one of my favorites, uh, a vampire anime called Vampire Knight. Um, before we get started here, I did want to do a little bit of housekeeping and apologize for last week where I had like a crazy thing happen with the live stream where um, Amniplex, who's the creator of Horimiya, which is the anime that I was reviewing, decided to uh, knock me down in the middle of the stream and then like let me back up, and there was a whole bunch of confusion, and I apologize, which got even funner after the live stream was over because they copyrighted copyrighted the thing, my stream, and then blocked it so that nobody could view it. Well, I felt like that was a little crappy. I'm like, look, I understand them copyright claiming stuff, but when they blocked it, then I got a little pissy, so that nobody could see my stream. And so I went and tried to fight it, and they really didn't like the fact that I tried to fight it to get them to unblock it, so they struck my channel. So yeah, nothing against Amniplex. I'm sure that it's just like a system. I'm sure that they're just striking or doing stuff to protect their material. And I've heard that anime is kind of particularly hard on this kind of stuff. They do not like people using their stuff, which I can get that, but we have laws in this country, and fair use is kind of a thing. So anyway, so I'm still working out that, but my channel is still going. So I figured, hey, you know what? Well, since we're not completely down, we should probably still talk about some anime today. So we're going to be talking about this anime. This anime is produced by Viz, V-I-Z. I love this anime. It was one of the first ones that this one and let's see, Rosario and a Vampire and a couple of others were the ones that I first kind of pulled me back into anime. I've talked a lot about them. This anime it has a lot of, I guess what you can almost say is, trying to decide how to explain this. It's almost kind of a soap opera esque, or more of a dramatic anime. There's not a lot of overt comedy in this, although there is funny moments, but it's more like accidental humor. Um, so, so but I mean, and it just kind of gets mixed in very low key. There's much more drama and stuff going on in this. And before I forget, let me say hello to everyone in chat. We've got Adega Outlaw, Hail, and Lady Mist. Welcome, thank you for being here. Brandon, the anime guy, has jumped in here today. Glad to see you, my friend. And we've also got Salty Texas C. Welcome. Haven't seen you in here before, or if I have, I apologize, because like I am terrible and literally terrible with keeping track of everybody. as much as I love everybody, yeah, I am the worst. Somebody will tell me their name, and I'm like, 10 minutes later, I'm like, who is that guy again? So I apologize. Um, so yeah, it's literally the worst person for names in the world. It causes me more problems than I can even begin to tell you about. But this anime, Vampire Knight, is really awesome. Now, as I was rewatching it this week, let me turn my phone dinger thing off here so it's not going off the whole time. I was watching this week, and I realized, because I've been watching a lot of really fast paced, um, like heavy fight scene, very very quick styled animation lately, and I went back and was watching this week, and I'm just like, this anime starts off, and it is a slow burn. I will tell you that right off the bat. This anime starts out very slow, very steady, and it just consistently builds throughout the entire 2 seasons that they ran this. There are only 2 seasons, so um, but yeah, it is this anime. And welcome, Red Moon, Blood Moon. I like that name. That's pretty cool. Um, there are really not too many vampire animes. Lots of demon. Yeah, well, I don't know. I sure seem to find a lot of vampire animes, but I literally go looking for them too. So because I am a vampire fanatic, I love vampires, and I like this one because this is my kind of vampire anime. It's it reminds me of the when I remember getting into vampires as a kid, it was watching the old Bela Lugosi, the old Dracula films, where there was kind of a seductive, romantic kind of feel to vampires. There wasn't this like crazy, psychotic ripping people apart and stuff that we seem to have kind of transitioned to today. Which I like that kind of vampire movie too. So don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, I but I grew up in a very kind of romanticized um era where vampires were very much like that, where it would zoom in on Dracula's eyes, and he would hypnotize the girl and bring them to lusting for him and basically taking away their will. And so it was I was really that's just the way I grew up, with that kind of vampire. And this kind of reminds me of that. It harkens back to that. You will get a kind of a real feel for that romanticized vampire era. And hail Cloud Sailing, welcome. Thank you for coming. But this the, the characters in this, let me see if I can pull this up, because the girl Yuki Cross is the main female character in this. And let me see if I can pull this up while I'm talking here, because when you see her, there's a moment in another cartoon that me and my family absolutely loves. And let me see if I can pull this up here so I can share this with you, because every time I see her, I think of this clip from this movie. So I want to see if I can get it up here in enough time that it's not going to take too long. But give me just a second. I apologize for the very unprofessional of me. So, oh, it's always in the wrong spot. So anyway, let me share my screen here with you guys. And so, nope, stop sharing, because I did not share the sound. God, it's like there's a boomer running this live stream. I'm not a boomer. I'm a Gen Xer too, by the way. So I mean, that's just wrong. Anyway, her eyes will make you. If you've ever watched this movie called Robots, this this is what I think of every time I see her. Is this clip from this film?
A fashion model just waiting to throw up. Give me those eyes, big eyes, big eyes. Give me big anime eyes.
So that clip always pops into my head because, like I said, if you've ever seen this character, her eyes are huge. Like, let me see if I can pull up another picture of just her, and so you guys can see what I'm talking about. I mean, anime has that kind of as a tropey kind of thing. Um, and this is very much brought into real fruition with this particular character. So this is her. This is Yuki. So her eyes are like double or triple the size of regular eyes in this, and at first it's a little disturbing, and then you're like, okay, I get it. All right. Anyway, so yeah, this is the main female heroine of the, and not to be confused with the kind that you inject into your arm. But yeah, every time I see her, I think of that clip from Robots. But here we have, so I just pulled up some pictures because I didn't want to do videos this week, because that got me in trouble last week. So I figured let's do something a little safer this time around, and we'll just show some pictures of these main characters. Let's go back, and some of the artwork that I was finding as I was going through here looking today. This is a really kind of pretty anime. There is a lot of attention to like beauty in this, and especially the beauty of the vampires. um, and this comes across like in some of this art that I found online for it. So this is her, and this is Kaname Kuran, which is one of the male characters. There's three main characters, and he's one. Hail, Chris Persia! Thank you for jumping in here today. So and there's her again. There's her again. See, you can kind of tell that I have a thing for her, because I like big eyes. And if you're a guy at all, you know exactly what I'm talking. Anyway, I won't belabor that point. But yeah, see, I didn't think I had this many pictures of her. I, I know I got some of the guys. I know I did, but I don't think they showed up in the thing. Anyway, so these are the three main characters. Like I said, this is Kaname Kuran, and this is Yukari, can't say her name now, and this is Zero Kiryu. And they are the three main characters that are in this. There is a love triangle going on in this, but not in that Twilight or that seems to be kind of almost a thing nowadays with so much of the yeah, there's so many of the shows and movies that are being made now where they can't just do a romantic thing. They've got to do this bizarre, creepy love triangle deal, and that gets really old really fast. So those are the main pitch. And oh no, but I can't show that. I will get struck down. Anyway, so but yeah, I pardon me, I coughed right into the microphone there. So, and I apologize for jumping on just a smidge late. I was having trouble getting my mic to connect. Um, Now I know what Loki feels like when his mic goes on the fritz. So we got Red Moon, Blood Moon. Vampire Night is more intrigue than action oriented, but there's a lot going on behind the scenes you can feel. And there's yes, that is a perfect. Thank you, Red Moon, Blood Moon. That is a perfect way of describing this anime. It is, like I said, it's a slow burn. You like they are building this world. They are letting you in on, because you're coming in not at the beginning of this story. You're coming in at about the middle of this story, and it's filling you in on this world and the characters, and it's building each character as it goes. And you're also slowly being filled in on the backstory that you weren't aware of before. And it is just such a good story. And for those of you who haven't seen it, I don't want to ruin anything about this, so I will try and stay away from spoilers. I don't know how many of you guys have actually seen this, but trying to make sure I didn't miss any major comments here. I apologize. I've been paying attention to chat, but also trying to show pictures and stuff. So, but yeah, I like I said, I love vampire stuff, and I love this one because there's I like stories that really go in depth on like good love stories. Adega Outlaw and I were talking about this when we talked about Tokyo Ghoul. One of our favorite things in that anime is the love story comes off as very authentic. You feel like you understand why these two characters like each other, which is one of my biggest problems that they have in the Twilight films. Is like they spent so much time on the other stuff. Like if you read the books and you go watch the movies, you're going to be like, what the hell? What is going on here? That is not, like, you don't understand why Bella and Edward even like each other in the movies, because like they don't really, it feels forced and fake. I love the Twilight books and hate those films, just hate them with a passion, because the characters were terrible, like the actors were terrible, and the way that was done was just, it did such a disservice to that series of books. So, like Hollywood does. Um, so I know, don't kill me. I like Twilight books, but like I said, I'm a vampire nut, so that kind of goes with the territory. So yeah, but in this you're going to get to know these characters, and let me pull up here so I can kind of go over some of these list of characters and introduce you to some of the people you're going to be seeing in here. No, that's the wrong button. Yeah, I need to get one of my kids to come down here and just run this, and I'll just point to what I want done because that would be easier than what I'm doing. Dad, you're so dumb. So we've got Yuki Cross. She's our main female, as I said. We've got Kaname Kuran. Now, he is a vampire, and he is what is called a pureblood vampire. Zero Kiryu is this one right here, and I don't think I can blow these up to make them any bigger without things going terribly wrong. I've tried that in the past, and it did not go well. So, and we've got Hanabusa Ido, which he is one of my favorite characters in this. He is just, he's the vampire who's always getting himself in trouble, not really meaning to. He just is like always putting his foot in his mouth, and it's not like in an obnoxious or slapstick way. He wants so badly to kind of be in on what's going on, and he's kind of confused as to what's happening throughout the whole story that he just can't. Oh man, it's just he ends up being funny, not meaning to, and I love that kind of character, because I knew a lot of people who uh yeah, that have that. Oh, that's awesome. Lady Miss says, I watched Horror Mia, and yes, it was very good and funny. So yes, see, I try not to lead you guys astray, and yeah, I know. I'm sorry. You know what? I'm pretty good until I get on a live stream, and then all of my hidden boomer traits really come out of the wood. I don't know why. It only happens when I'm on live streams that I suddenly become the most bumbling computer illiterate person ever. Because like I play video games on here, I do all kinds of stuff, but no, put me in front of a computer and a live stream, and yeah, something happens. Something goes terribly, terribly wrong. Anyway, so we've also got let's see, and I am going to butcher some of these names. I apologize, which is weird. I've just been watching this today. Ruka Soyen, Atsuki Kayan. I think that's, yeah. I'm not sure. I'm messing that one up. Senri Shiki, and these, and then we've got Shizuka Hayo, and Takama Ichiro, and Rudo Kuran. Oh, he's creepy. He's kind of the overarching bad guy. We've got Juri Kuran, which is actually Yuki's mother, and we've got Headmaster Kion Cross, and he is fantastic. I love the guy that plays him. He's one of my favorite kind of characters that you really get in anime. You get he ends up being he's hiding who he really is, and that's what I like he has like two sides of his personality really happening, and he hides one basically to cloak his past, and to kind of hide who he really is, and I think that's very interesting. That it makes an interesting character because you get these slight glimpses of maybe this guy isn't what he seems, because he comes off as this kind of goofy, almost whimsical headmaster, and then you get these brief moments of just like seriousness from him, and you're just like, oh wait. It kind of reminds me of how Dumbledore is described in the books. Michael Gambon did a terrible job playing that part, in my opinion. I always hated his portrayal of Dumbledore. I thought I just lost the name of the guy who did the Dumbledore in the first two films. But he got Dumbledore way better than Michael Gambon ever did. And I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on. He's like this fantastic British actor. If any of you guys know who I'm talking about, he was the first person who played Dumbledore in the movies. It was so sad when he passed away, because I'm just like, wait, what are we going to do for Dumbledore now? Which I know a guy dies, and all I'm worried about is the character from the movie, right? Yeah, what a jerk. Um, so we got Rima Toyu, and then we've got Toga Yagari. He is a vampire hunter. So before I go any further with characters, like I said, I could go through and tell you every single one of these characters, and they're not going to mean much till you actually watch the show. So what Richard Harris, thank you, Lady Miss, for saying that. You saved me. Pardon me. But yes, so Richard Harris was just a great Dumbledore. He actually got that character. But in this world, you have vampires, you have humans, and you have vampire hunters, and which are humans who that's really all they do. Their whole thing is to hunt down the vampires. And they have done this for generations and generations. They've developed specific techniques. Some of them even have developed kind of specialized powers. Their weapons are very specific to kill vampires, but not really hurt human beings. One of them is actually carried by Zero Kiryu, which is him right here, which he's one of the main protagonists. And Zero is a vampire hunter who has a secret, and he is and you're trying, and it's a fairly obvious secret, and it comes out fairly quick in the anime, but oh hell, I'm just going to tell you. He's slowly becoming a vampire. Due to something that happened to him when he was younger, he is slowly becoming a vampire. And it's been over a process of about 4 years. Hey, Jeff B, thank you for jumping in here today. Welcome. And so he's struggling with this, and because he's slowly transforming into a vampire, this comes with a series of problems. So the one thing I do love about this anime in particular is um the world building that they do, where you get a sense for it kind of is the same feeling I got when I was watching the movies for Underworld. I loved the Underworld films. Well, I guess I should say I loved Underworld 1 and 2, and then after that I was just like, I don't know what you guys are doing anymore, so I think I'm out. But I love those movies mainly because they really delved into the world behind the vampires and the lichens. Now, we don't get the lichens in this, thank goodness. They just kind of focus in on the vampires. But realistically, the vampire, it gives you kind of the hierarchy of how vampires work. You have the purebloods who sit at the top of the pinnacle, and then you have the aristocrats, then you have the just regular vampires, and then you have the humans that were once, or vampires that were once human, and then you have the vampires who, for whatever reason, could not, like, they were human, but they could not handle it, and they become what they call level E, which means the end. That's why they call them level E. And when they become level E, they lose all sense of self, and they become basically just beasts, and just kill indiscriminately for blood. And so they are they're really bad. And both the vampire hunters and the vampires kind of seek them out and try and kill them because they don't want, this knowledge of vampires spreading everywhere. The vampire hunters do it out of hatred. The vampires kill them um, to try and now that's my train of thought. Try and basically keep their own controlled. It's basically like their own law enforcement. They don't want bad vampires out there causing ferals. That's a good way of putting it. Red moon, blood moon. So and this is what threw me when Jeff said this. Yeah, it's good. Sorry. Anyway, that threw me when you put that comment up there, like right in the middle of my brain, just locked up and changed subjects. So because I have squirrel issues, but seriously, this is the vampire hunters. You don't really find out a lot about them until towards the very end of the anime, and then they kind of start getting more into what's going on with them. And within each of these worlds, the vampire hunters and the vampires, you have kind of a political hierarchy, and there's this political kind of a struggle going on in the background that's not really in the forefront, but it's driving basically what's happening in the story. Um, Sorry, just Chris Purge just said something, and there we go. You didn't miss out much, Brian Spoilers. They killed Michael off screen in between. Yeah, yeah, I kind of heard that, and I really like Michael's character, so I was a little pissed about that. See, like I said, squirrel. I just, I, but I love everything vampire. So yeah, if you guys, I mean, I could literally just sit here and talk about vampire movies forever, and TV series. Um, but this it's just I love this kind of anime reminds me of something of the storytelling that you got from say series like Babylon 5, where there's these undercurrents that are going on that are driving the story behind the scenes, and that you you don't always know what's happening, and there's these little things that have happened through the episodes that it harkens back to, and you're like, oh, you're like, okay, now I get why that was important. And I like really good intricate storytelling like that. It keeps me interested, and it makes it so I can't just sit there and kind of casually zone out and just be a vegetable while I'm watching something. I like something that keeps me active and engaged when I'm watching. Um, and this really does. Like I said, it's a slow burn at first, but I mean, if you just stay with it, you're going to be like, now I especially by the time you're about halfway through the first season, you're going to start seeing it and feeling it. And there are a couple horror moments that I wish I could show you from this anime. That is it is like it's the stuff of nightmares. I mean, this is nightmare fuel. And I'll tell you about it, but you won't understand until you actually go watch this anime. There's a scene where Yuki is in town, and she's looking for someone, and or she's just kind of in town, she's doing some stuff, and this little kid, she sees him, he's got a balloon, and he kind of gets away from him, and she jumps up, grabs the balloon, tries to hand it back to him, and he like acts like he's distracted and runs away. Well, she chases after him. She's chasing after him and trying to get this blue. Turns a corner. He's like way up ahead of her. And so she's chasing him till they're in this deserted part of the city. Well, she goes to hand him back the balloon. He reaches out for her hand and then like grabs hold of her just like a vice. And then you kind of, let me see if I can start whenever I start my camera, my internet goes boo, and it slows my stream down, so I usually turn it off here lately. So but anyway, so this kid's got a hat on, and you kind of just see him like this, and as he grabs her hand, he looks up, and his face just becomes this yeah, it's like I said, nightmare fuel, like vampire, and he's just like, and he like grabs her hand and like tries to bite her, and it's the music and the ambiance that they've set through this whole scene that leads up to this. And I mean, anybody who's ever watched, movies about, vampires and jump scare type movies, there's just a way that can be done right and a way that can be done wrong. And seriously, this little kid, I mean, it's just little kids are creepy. If you've ever seen the original Pet Cemetery and that little boy, oh, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, why little kids are like either the cutest things ever or the creepiest things you've ever seen. When they're portrayed as like evil and sadistic, it is just I mean, like you hear those the horror movies where it's like the little kids in the background like, oh, you're just like, oh, some bad shit's about to happen. You always know it's going to be really horrible when the little kids choir starts singing. It's like, yeah, something bad's about to happen here. Anyway, so um but and there's a couple moments like that where it's not like a heavy horror um anime, but there are those moments in it that really, and this isn't like an extremely bloody anime. For a vampire anime, there's just enough blood that it keeps it interesting and cool and you like it, but it's not like just blood spraying. But you will have enough blood that you're just like, oh yeah, this is a good vampire one. Especially by the time you get to the end. By the time this anime comes to an end, you definitely get your fill of blood. And the bad guy, seriously, you build up, and there's this overarching feel of the bad guy that's coming, and when he finally shows up, you're just like, dang. And one of the things that really bothered me, and I don't know if they do talk about this in the manga or the anime or whatever, um, there's just some trying to describe it, to figure out how to describe this, mainly because I just lost my train of thought because I've been up since 1 o'clock this morning driving home from Wyoming in a snowstorm. So I'm a little tired. So I apologize if I seem a little punch drunk. Um, but no, it just there's kind of a backstory that you only get to see pieces of it by the time everything comes out. You don't get this because there's this reference to this monster that is involved in the death of Kaname Kuran's parents. And I mean, I really like Kaname Kuran. In this, he is just kind of a cool. He's a pureblood vampire, and the story between him and Yuki, and seriously, the love story and the intricate friend story that goes on between Yuki, um, Kaname, and Zero Kiryu is just really done well, really well thought out, really intricate, and it makes it worth watching to watch what's happening between them because it's not like cheesy stupid love triangle. It's like you get it, you're like, oh. I mean, you feel like it's earned, like, which doesn't always seem like you get with some of that. It just seems like, okay, they just did this to try and complicate this love story, and it's kind of dumb. And that's how they kind of made it feel in the Twilight movies, which is one of the reasons I hated the way they did that, because that's a love triangle kind of thing going on there too. But the way the films did it, it's just so bad. Um, but anyway, yes, yes, seriously creepy. um, but yeah, no, it's Lemus, there is no small. Imagine he lived up north. The chipmunk troll would be scary. I must have missed something there. Oh, runs. Wait. Oh, I think it's because of this. Runs over. Okay. All right. Making fun of me while I'm not paying attention. That's just rude and mean and probably accurate. Sorry. Usually when somebody's making fun of me, it's because I deserve it. And I'm okay with that. I get it. I get it. But no, the thing that really brings this all together is the ensemble cast that you get with this anime. All of these characters are fantastic. So you've got, this is all going on in a school. So it's basically like a high school level type thing that's going on, but you don't feel like, you know how a lot of animes do high school type dramas and romance. It doesn't feel like that. It feels like a high school romance going on, but it should have happened like it's like a college romance set in a high school type situation. So it feels very much more adult than kind of childish, if that makes any sense, because these characters all come off as very mature, because they're in this school, and Kion Cross, he's the headmaster. He is also Yuki's adopted father. Has set up this school where, I'll just tell you this little thing. You don't find out till quite far into it, but he was once a vampire hunter who gave up that life to create this school where human beings and and vampires could come together to try and bridge that gap, to try and create a peaceful coexistence between vampires and humans. And he's worked a long time to try and do this. Kaname Kuron, being a pureblood, one of the last of the purebloods, kind of is helping to support this and actually attending the school, although I think he's old enough not to, and brings this group of vampires to the school, to attend school. And they're all like all the vampires, which is it's kind of a normal thing that's talked about with in vampires films, no matter where you watch them, is that they're all beautiful. Like they are all just ridiculously beautiful. And it's one of the funny things is because Zero and Yuki are guardians, which they basically they are always trying to keep the classes separate so that they're together but they're separate, if that makes any kind of sense. The vampires go to school at night and the humans go to school during the day, and they never really meet except for a limited amount of time where they kind of cross over paths. And the humans are all completely infatuated with the vampires. They're like, the girls are out there every day fawning over them, and Yuki and Zero are trying to keep them separate. And Zero comes off as a very hard-nosed guy, and is voiced by one of my favorite anime actors, Vic Mignogna. So, which he has a twin. Vic plays both voices for both the twins and does a great job. In fact, it it wasn't until I watched it this time that I realized it was Vic, because usually Vic Mignogna is very verbose and very like big in his characters, and this is a very low key character, and so like I didn't even realize it was him till this time. It's like I've been watching this for years, and I'm just like, wait a minute, that sounds a lot like Vic. And I started going through my phone, and I'm like, I'll be damned, it is. So yeah, that was fun to learn. You know, I always thought I was good at that, but that's how well I thought Vic did in this. That he was able to do it so low key, and the minor changes to his voice made it so that I didn't even know it was him. Um, so we got some comments. Oh yeah, see, squirrels are very dumb. I know. Sorry. Oh, I'm not a squirrel, so it's more that I like looking at them and getting distracted by them. So, but yeah, not around here in my house, right on they call cell phones and weapons. Oh, I think that one came through twice. Um, that's not when they go into the street. So somehow a squirrel conversation has exploded within the chat room. I said squirrel, and apparently you guys are squirrels, or get squirrel just as much as I do, because all I had to do was say squirrel, and you guys were off on squirrel. I'm glad I'm not the only one that's just like easily distracted and stuff. But yeah, so I mean, squirrels are cute. You could just kind of sit there and watch them, but they are a little creepy with the black within black eyes. They look like the vampires off of Being Human, which is another fantastic vampire show. See, like I said, I could tell you, I just love vampires. Um, anyway, so we all have ADHD. Well, I mean, you know, you can't have a cell phone and not end up developing ADHD at some point. But and I'm kind of a minor twitch. Uh, but yeah, no. So this is a really great anime. If you like love stories, and I mean, there are so many different little stories going on throughout this. You've got an unrequited love between a couple of the other vampires. She's totally in love with Kaname Kuron. The one of the other vampires is in love with her. She can't see it till the very end, and she still cannot. I mean, she still can't detach her emotions and her feelings away from Kaname Kuron. It's just, and I mean, and like I said, the humor that you're going to find in this is great humor, but it's not like just pow in your face. It's not like One Punch Man humor where it's just like you are constantly being punched in the face with a joke and something funny one time after another. I love One Punch Man for that, but like the humor in this is very subtle, and it kind of sneaks up and smacks you when you're when you're not ready for it, and you're just like, and so you'll be watching along, and then you're just like, and it just catches you off guard. and suddenly find yourself laughing when you weren't expecting to. I like that kind of thing where it just kind of surprises the humor, the laughter right out of you. Um, and that happens several times in this. The animation style is very good, and like I said, I found it very beautiful to watch and to look at, and especially the way the vampires are portrayed, um, and stuff. It's just and mainly, like I said, Hanabusa ends up being unintentionally funny throughout this entire entire of anime because he's trying to do things that never seem to work out quite the way it's like he wanted them to, and like he's infatuated with Kaname Kuran, not in a sexual way, although I was doing research on this today, and I was amazed at how much shipping had happened between these characters, and I'm just like, please stop, please stop. If I could snap my fingers and make one thing go away, it would be shipping characters. I just some characters okay I can get, but like when people start shipping characters because there was a show and they looked at each other for 3.5 seconds and so they must be in love. They must be in love, Brian. You know they're in love, Brian. It just I totally thought these two guys were totally homosexual for each other, despite the fact he was in a relationship with a girl and they were totally a thing and they had some kids and everything. Doesn't matter. I want to ship them. So anyway, so I hate that. I hate people shipping characters that are like, no, no. Um, anyway, so but there was some of that, but like Hanabusa, just he really likes Kaname Kuran. And when he first meets him, he acts like he hates him, but he doesn't. And he just really wants to be his friend, really wants to be there for him, cares about him as a friend, and it's kind of cool. But because of that, there's these funny things that he does that are just way out there. Because the purebloods have powers that the other vampires don't. The aristocrats have a kind of a special set of powers that they can use and stuff the regular vampires don't really have any other than they're fast and they're strong, and stuff. So I want to jump back in the chat here. We've had some messages coming through as I've been yakking away here. It's okay to be distracted, speaker. I was partially distracted by your I was wondering if it was his PA shirt before I realized you never worn that on the stream. It's all right, man. It's all right. Let me show you here. I'll try, which is really funny because I have a fat belly. So, but that's the shirt. It's called Saitama's Gym, which I should really go to a gym because I'm fat. I'm a truck driver and I'm fat. Go figure, right? Fat truck drivers. Who'd have thunk it? Um, so let's see. There's a very fragile truce ceasefire between the vampires and vampires hunters. Setting the school, trying to improve relations. Yes. Man, Red Moon, Blood Moon, I should have had you come on here to help me talk about this. It seems like you like this as much as I do. There's a lot of stuff I'm not able to tell you in this short amount of time. And I try not to tell you too much because I want you to go find this out and figure this stuff out for yourselves because this is a really good anime. Like I said, it is just Red Moon, Blood Moon is like he's knocking it out of the park with helping me tell you guys. So if there's stuff I'm missing, just read his comments. He is posting some really great big. No, I can't even claim that a big bow because like look at my figure. It's not even that big. Thanks for trying to help me out there, Pops. Though that was sweet. But yeah, and then we've got yes. So I mean, a lot of the humor happens because the humans are so infatuated with the vampires and how pretty they are. They're like sneaking pictures and stuff. And so the disciplinary committee, which consists of Yuki and Zero, they have to go in and raid their dorms and like clean all the contraband vampire stuff out. But the humans have no idea. The humans do not know that the night class is made of vampires. They just think they're a different class. And which is and they're trying to kind of keep that knowledge because it's like maybe a good way of describing this is it's like back when they were trying to integrate schools in the South where like putting black and white students together. Imagine a school that was trying to do something similar to that, but they were just basically putting them in proximity to each other so they could get used to it before like they actually were together. Because it's kind of like that. not with the racial connotations, but kind of being as if vampires and humans are different races. Anyway, um, don't think about that too much. Don't think about my analogy too much, because then the crazy race people start getting in on the conversation and you're racist and you said that, whatever. But yeah, no. So and welcome, Pops. Thank you for jumping in here today. Um, but yeah, no, it's I cannot recommend this anime enough. It is, if you just like really good romance stories that aren't too like, ew, I'm just gonna feel like I'm covered in estrogen afterwards. This is a good love story. This is a good love story where there's a lot of there's stuff in there for the guys. Okay. This see, my wife gets mad at me because I hate like chick flicks for the most part, because most chick flicks, like, there's nothing in there for guys. Like, it's just, they're terrible. The few chick flicks I like are like Fried Green Tomatoes, because there's some really funny guy moments in that. Um, Steel Magnolias, which I find extremely funny, mainly because the character of Weezer, and some of the other, like, but there's some guy moments in there. Like, I hate chick flicks where like the guys are made out to be these unrealistic, perfect characters that never do anything wrong. And oh, why can't you be like him? Because he's not real, and that doesn't exist. Men aren't like that, and the women in these things aren't either. It's just like I prefer like real. Like, when I'm watching a romantic something, I want some realness to it. I want them to be human and stuff. Chick flick. Like I said, I don't mind a chick flick if it's got some realism in there and it's got some stuff for the guys, that make it funny and keep it interesting and stuff. But to just sit down and watch, like I've never seen The Notebook, because I've just heard too many girls like gaga and coo over that, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, I don't think the guy that's probably real. I mean, he's a real person. Like, the person acting in that movie, that, yes, he is a real person, but the character he's playing, and don't think he exists in real life. Anyway, but hey, Loki jumped in here. Trying not to say popped in here. Welcome, Loki. Yes, thank you. Like and subscribe and share and all that cool stuff. If you're liking what we're talking about today, the conversation only gets more interesting the more interaction we have together. And thank you, Red Moon, Blood Moon, for like jumping in here and helping put some stuff out about this today. Like I said, I can only cover so much, and I can only remember so many things in one of these things. You've been doing a fantastic job in here today. If I'd have known how well I'd have been like, hey man, you want to come on the show? Because I'm always open to have somebody come in here and help me talk about this stuff, because man, anime is just too great. Anime is just too great to be missing out on right now. And there is so much anime out there for us to watch and be entertained by and enjoy. So yes, it is a shojo anime, but it's just a lot of fun. Great characters, great story. I wish they would do more to talk about what goes on. I mean, this story literally has it all. It has love, romance, blood, vampires, incest, brothers and sisters, brothers and sisters. I mean, it really has it. And if you want to know what I'm talking about, you got to go watch this anime. But don't let that, like, it's not like the Arkansas sleeping with your sisters kind of creepy. That's not that's not what I'm talking about in here. This is it's all it's all in the reflexes. When you're barreling down I-29 and I can't do great or big trouble in Little China. That's totally Jack Burton. I mean, I can't do that. And I'm even a truck driver, and I can't do a good Jack Burton. So that's how sad that is. But yes, please go watch this. Take a look. Let me know. Thank you, Lady Mist, and who somebody else in here. I think it was Texas. See, where'd you go? It's up here somewhere. Somebody else made a comment about how they was it Chris. Somebody made a comment in here earlier, and I can't find it now. That they went and watched Horimiya and they liked it. That's really the whole purpose of this, is to hopefully introduce you guys to to maybe an anime that you hadn't seen, that you didn't know about yet, and to yeah, it was Jeff B. There it is. Found it. So Jeff, I'm glad you guys went and watched it, and that you liked the Speaker for the Dead 2022. Yes, check. You know what I always say? Checks in the mail. I need to do a show on Big Trouble in Little China. I love that movie. That was such a classic movie when I was a kid. That's fantastic. But yes, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for being a part of this channel. Thanks for jumping in and talking today and stuff. It just makes it so much more fun when we can sit here and talk about these things and enjoy the stuff that we're doing. And my brother just walked in, is trying to make me laugh. So next week we are going to be talking. Stop rubbing your nipples. Next week we're going to be talking about. Oh, thanks. You just made me forget what I was going to say. Such a jerk. We're going riding. I'm getting on my Harley and we're going for a ride after I get done with this today, because it's a nice day. It's finally a nice day in here in Idaho, and it's not blowing 800 miles an hour, raining sideways. So I mean, it's time to get on my Heritage Softail and go for a ride. And he's getting on his Honda. Honda. Anyway, so next week we are going to be talking about another fantastic anime that I really like. This next one is a lot more action packed, high adventure, extreme stuff going on. We are going to be talking about Fire Force. If you have not seen Fire Force yet, seriously, go watch Fire Force. There is 2 seasons out right now, and it is really, really good. If any of you guys like Fire Force and would like to come on and talk about it with me next week, please just shoot me a message on Twitter. My Twitter handle is at Brian the Speaker, and or put a comment in this with this live stream when it comes up, and just let me know, and you're more than welcome to come on and help me talk about that. I'm hoping that I can get my son to come on and talk about that, because he really likes that one too. It is a fantastic anime. Excellent story, high action, cool fight sequences. Just is really good. Anyway, thanks for being here, everybody, and we will talk to you guys next week. Thanks, everybody, and have a great week. Bye now.